In the following days we see Toya and his girls. They were fighting against two mithril golems. The golem threw a huge rock at them, but they dodged the attack in time. Yahe then tried to attack a golem and her katana sword was broken. Toya was shocked by their defenses and came up with a plan to destroy them. Then Toya used his gate spell and he teleports the golem to the sky. After that, he used his cell phone to check where the golem will land. As a result, the mithril golems fell from heaven. Then Toya and his girls used all the Axel spell. The golems were badly damaged and the girls immediately attacked together. After Lindsay cast her spell, her twin sister Elsa attacked the golem. The first golem was defeated and Yumina cast a spell too. She destroyed the second golem with her lightning javelin spell. However, the two strong mithril golems were defeated by Toya's group, and they collected the magic orbs. As a result, they managed to complete their quest. They then returned to Toya's mansion, and he was immediately greeted by Reen and Cecile. Toya said that their group defeated mithril golems successfully, and almost all of them were promoted to red rank adventurers. Then Toya realized that he had forgotten his servant Francesca. He immediately picked her up in the Garden of Babylon. However, she was angry with her master, and she teased Toya for his recklessness. Then Toya apologized to Francesca for his behavior. After that, Leon wanted to talk about the magic circles of Babylon. Toya was surprised that she really wants to find the other parts of Babylon. So Toya said that, if she finds any clues, he will help her to find the magic circles of Babylon. Suddenly Toya got a call from God, so he teleports to the God realm. God invited Toya to his home, because he wanted to know if Toya enjoys his life with Almighty Riz. Toya replied that he is very thankful for getting so much Riz. Then God wanted to give Toya a new iPhone, but Toya replied that his current iPhone is perfectly fine. Meanwhile, the goddess of love looked at his phone. She asked why he didn't have his fiancées as his home screen. Toya thought it would be embarrassing, but he was lectured by the goddess of love. She said that he should immediately change his home screen with the picture of his girls, and he was persuaded by both gods to take a picture of his fiancées at home. Meanwhile, his girls were relaxing with a bath. Else looked at her engagement ring, and Yumina said that she loves Toya's engagement ring too. Lindsay also liked the ring. The rings are special, and gave the girls power to use skills like the Excel spell and item box. Yahe agreed that the rings are very beautiful and useful at the same time. Then Yumina said that Toya is a great and handsome man. Everyone agreed with Yumina's opinion, and she said that people will want to take advantage of the good-natured Toya in the future. She then said that they have to take good care of Toya, to protect Toya from evil people. Also Yumina said that they all knew about the almighty Riz power of Toya, so they should prepare themselves, that he will get more fiancés in the future. In the following days we see Toya and Yahe. They were in Ishin. Toya commissioned the blacksmith to make a mithril katana sword. Then Yahe wanted to hold hands with Toya. Toya was overwhelmed by her cuteness, and he blushed by looking at her cute face. As a result, they held hands together, and Yahe enjoyed their time together as a couple. In the afternoon, Toya visited the royal family with Yumina. Yumina's mother gave her advice as a future wife. Then the king wished Toya good luck with his 4 future wives. Suddenly the king said that he is looking forward for his first grandchildren's. Suddenly, Yumina punched her father because she was embarrassed by his words. After that, Toya learned from Yumina's mother that many will not recognize their engagement. The reason is Toya had no great heroic deeds to show. However, Sushi appeared. She was happy to see her cousin Yumina. Then Toya spent time together with Sushi and the royal family. Later he returned home, and Toya learned that, if the royal family doesn't bear a son in the next time, he will become the next king. Toya then reflected on the queen's words, that he must show heroic deeds to marry Yumina. The next day, Toya visited the Silver Moon Inn and he learned from his 2 friends that their town have problems, that the tourists didn't want to visit their town. Toya came up with an idea and decided to help them. So Toya built a Japanese onsen at the Silver Moon Inn. Toya then invited all of his friends to try his homemade onsen. His girls were impressed by Toya's onsen, and Yumina teased the 3 shy girls a bit. Then Yumina asked all 3 girls, when they realized they were in love with Toya. Else then replied that she fell in love with him, because he is such a great gentleman and she loves his beautiful eyes. Yumina agreed that Toya got Riz, and she wanted to hear Linza's story. Yahe was looking forward to her story, so Linza said that she fell in love with him, because she was very shy around guys. In addition, Toya always listens to her, and he was very nice, and always shows great interest. As a result, she felt the sense of secrecy around him. Then Lindsay said she doesn't know exactly when she fell in love with him. Afterwards, Yahi shared that she fell in love with Toya when she saw his good nature. She loved that he doesn't judge others and always saves people in need. All the girls confessed their love for Toya, and Elsa wanted to hear Yumina's story. However, Yumina replied that she fell in love with him immediately when they met. The three girls were touched that it was love at first sight for Yumina. Suddenly, Francesca told Toya that she is about to climb over the wall to see him naked. Francesca became paralyzed, and Toya warned the other men not to try to climb over the wall. Suddenly Lean showed up in the men's bathroom. She had clues about the Babylon floating islands. Later, Toya and his friends flew to a ruin that Lean discovered. She was sure to find a magic circle of Babylon. Toya didn't show a lot of interest, and he infuriated Lean. She expected Toya to be more enthusiastic, so she teased him a bit. Then a phrase appeared, the monster chasing innocent people. Toya decided to help them and came up with a rescue plan. Suddenly the people in need were attacked by the phrase, but Elsa was able to deflect the attack. The twins wanted to keep the women and men safe. Then Toya opened his gate and Yahe attacked the phrase. She fell off the phrase and Toya saved her with his gate spell. The phrase then fired a laser beam at Toya and his friends. Toya was overwhelmed by the monster and hid behind a rock. Suddenly he ran into a friend that he learned a few days ago. Enda had a great deal of knowledge about the monsters called phrase. He then teleports to the phrase and he destroys the monster's body with just one attack. Toya was surprised by Ende's power. Also, Toya's friend destroyed the phrase's 2 cores. Then Toya inquired about the world barrier, and he learned that there is a barrier in his world that keeps out foreign objects. Enda said that they were able to enter their world through a hole in the barrier, and they are only henchmen's. Then Ende disappeared, and Toya took care of the rescued people. They got drinks and thanked Toya for saving them in the dangerous situation. Toya learned that they group wanted to save the enslaved girls. Also, she said the slave necklace caused a lot of pain and problems for the girls. They wanted to find someone who could remove the slave necklace. Suddenly, the adventurers learned that Toya can remove the dangerous item. Toya used his skill apports, and he freed all the girls from slavery. After that, Toya asked what their next plan is. They said that the girls have no home. Then Yumina appeared, introducing herself as the Princess of the Kingdom Belfast. She said all girls can live in the Kingdom of Belfast. The adventurers and girls thanked Yumina, so Toya allowed the adventurers and the girls to stay in Toya's mansion for the time being. Suddenly Lean asked about the unknown boy. Toya told her that he had met Ende in town. Ende wanted to buy a crepe, but his money was rejected. Toya paid for him, and he showed Ende the guild. Then Toya held the coin of Ende, and Francesca recognized the coin. The coin was created over 5,000 years ago, and Leon found the boy Ende very suspicious. Toya agreed that he is a little bit suspect. Then the girls found out that Toya was hiding something, so Toya told that he had a conversation with the Professor Regina. She told Toya about the demons named Phrase, that they appeared out of nowhere and destroyed the world. Toya apologized for forgetting to tell his girls about it. Then Leon wondered how many Phrase monsters lived 5,000 years ago and why they disappeared. Francesca then told about a weapon named Frame Gear that was built by Professor Regina. Toya was super excited about the new high-tech weapon and he wanted to see the Frame Gear right away. Following this, Toya was excited to explore the ruins, to find the Frame Gear weapon. After that, Toya's group went in search of the ruin, and Lean used wind magic on it. Then Toya found a secret room and he couldn't use his gate spell. However, Toya went to the magic circle and he filled the circle with magic, so Toya was teleported to another location. Suddenly, the android Rosetta appeared. Toya learned that he discovered the workshop of Babylon. Then Rosetta learned that Francesca already accepted Toya as compatible. Rosetta then asked perverted questions and asked Toya to guess the color of her panties. As a result, Toya tried to figure out the color of her panties with wind magic. His first attempt failed, and he used fire magic. Rosetta's skirt was magic repellent, so Toya used a newly learned spell. Toya used the long sense spell and found out that her panties are transparent. He shocked, and Rosetta accepted him as her Riz master. Followed, she gave Toya a passionate French kiss to register him as her new master. After that, Toya was shown the workshop of Babylon. The workshop has high technology. Then, arriving in an empty room, Rosetta conjured a device. The device could create objects and tools. Toya then wanted to know if he could copy his gun. Toya wanted to make a mithril gun, and the machine immediately made his new gun. In addition, Rosetta showed that he can customize the design of his gun. Toya was amazed, and he wanted to test his new weapon, but the programming was not copied. In addition, Toya learned that he can also order mass production. After that, Toya wanted to know more about the frame gear. Toya learned that Rosetta was involved in building the gun, but they stored the weapon in a different location. However, Rosetta said that her workshop is much better than the Garden of Babylon. Toya stopped the argument from the two androids, and he asked if the two islands of Babylon could be united. However, Toya arrived at his mansion, and the adventurers apologized to Toya for the rudeness, because Toya is engaged to Princess Yumina. Toya said they can get up, because Cecile was telling them a lot of nonsense. After that, the adventurers asked if Toya had a job for the girls, since they haven't work experience. So Toya came up with a plan for the rescued girls. A few days later we see Toya. He opened a maid cafe. Then the adventurers reported that his idea of opening a maid cafe was a complete success. So the girls got a job, and the adventure group also thanked Toya for their security job. Toya was happy that he was able to use the profits from his bicycle manufacture to raise enough money to open the maid cafe. Then Toya found out that Lindsay had chosen the books that many women love. Toya was surprised and happy that customers can also eat delicious cakes while reading. Afterwards, Will said that he wished he could use special null magic too. Additionally, Will told Toya that his grandpa could use null magic. This is how Toya learned about a new spell called gravity that can affect the weight of a subject. Later, Toya accompanied Yumina to the guild. Yumina was happy to spend time together with Toya. She also wanted to finally rise in rank. They then discovered a quest to go hunt a giant crab. When Toya wanted to apply for the quest, receptionist Prim checked his ID. She told him that she often visits his maid cafe. She then asked if Toya could order a book called The Order of the Rose. Toya found out that there is a whole series of books, and he wanted to order the books for Prim. After that, Yumina told that the book is very pervert. Toya was surprised Lindsay was into gay romance books. Then Toya thought that Yumina also likes to read kinky books. Yumina then replied that she doesn't really like reading such books. Followed, Yumina told Toya that she just happened to know the author of the books. So Toya learned that the eldest daughter of the referee's Imperium is the author of the books. Toya was shocked when Yumina told him that her childhood friend Riri is a perverted book author who writes about gay romance. After that, Toya went hunting for a giant bloody crab. Arriving in the desert, Yumina immediately cast a spell on Mr. Krabs. Then one of Mr. Krabs' leg was shot. Following this, Toya teleports behind the giant crab. Toya used his newly learned gravity spell, and he was able to defeat Mr. Krabs. After the fight, Yumina asked what dish Toya wants to cook with Mr. Krabs. He replied that he plans to cook delicious Krabby Patties. After the quest, they returned to the guild together, and Yumina was promoted to a higher rank. Yumina was happy to be finally ranked red too. Then Toya said he wanted to go buy the books right away. Suddenly he asked Prim if she could give him a piece of paper that listed many popular books. Then she asked all her friends for ideas that the women wanted to read. Then Prim named them all the popular books that the women like. All the women were looking forward to reading the perverted novels, and Toya was shocked. Then we see the capital of the referee's empire, and Toya was in a bookstore. He showed a woman the books, which he wanted to buy. Then Toya said that he just buy them for his own shop, because he was embarrassed to buy the kinky books. After that, Toya looked at more books, and he heard a girl cry. She was disappointed, because she wanted to buy a kinky books. Unfortunately, Toya had bought almost all of the books. Then Toya found out about the problem, and the girl was looking for the last book in the Rosemagi series. She asked if she could buy it from Toya. Suddenly the girl discovers that Toya had bought the book series, The Order of the Rose. She thought Toya was a fanboy of gay romance. The girl then said that she is the author of a book. She suggested giving him an autograph in exchange for the book, Rosemagi. Toya wasn't interested to make a deal with the girl. The girl thought that Toya considered her as a scammer. Toya tested her and asked if she is the Princess Riri. The princess couldn't believe that Toya knew her true identity. However, Princess Riri thought that Toya wanted to blackmail her and seduce her big brother to get power of the empire. Toya stopped her to fantasize such nonsense and clarified the misunderstanding. This is how Princess Riri learned that Yumina told him her true identity. Also, Toya told her that he is Yumina's fiancé, and Riri was surprised that Toya isn't gay. So Princess Riri was hit on the head again by Toya to stop her from telling such nonsense. He then teleported Yumina to him, and he duplicated the Book of Rosemagi for Princess Riri. Princess Riri was grateful, but still thought Toya was a fanboy of kinky novels. Toya got angry, and Riri understood that she should stop talking now. He then placed the new books in his store, and the girls from the guild were extremely happy. Then they all read the books about gay romance, and Prim thanked Toya for buying all the great books. After that, we see a girl. She asked for a book. Lindsay helped the girl out, so she showed the customer where to find the books. Then Will apologized for not being helpful, and Toya cheered him up. He then thanked Will for teaching him the gravity spell, so Toya wanted to grant him a wish. Will said that he would like to get stronger. Toya immediately realized that he wanted to get stronger to protect his crush. As a result, Toya brought Will to the leader of the knights. Toya asked his friend to help to become stronger. After that, Elsa showed up, and she asked if Toya could teleport her to the Inn Silvermoon, because she wanted to bathe in the onsen there. Toya teleports to Inn Silvermoon, and he talked to Micah. Micah said that her business with the onsen is a great success. Then Merchant Zanuck also showed up. He became a regular at the Silvermoon Inn. He was visiting the onsen every day. Toya then learned that the clothes he had ordered were ready to be delivered. Followed, Toya gave Elsa beautiful Chinese-style clothes. Toya called Elsa pretty, and Elsa blushed in front of Toya. She was happy that Toya gave her beautiful clothes. Suddenly she tripped and Toya activated his Riz power. He had infinite Riz that Elsa looked at him in love. In the days that followed, Lindsay told Toya that author Riel Refrize had released a new book. Toya learned that Princess Riri had written a story about him. Princess Riri wrote in her story that Toya will marry 9 men in the future. Toya was angry, and he wanted to beat her up for writing such nonsense. A few days later, Toya received more requests for ordering books. He wanted to teleport to the kingdom of Regulus. Toya told Lindsay that he wanted to buy new books right away. Then we see Toya in the kingdom of Regulus, and Toya saw many peoples in fear. Toya heard screams, and he reinforced his body with the boost spell. Following, Toya discovered enemies who want to kill innocent soldiers. Toya rushed to the rescue of a soldier, and he found an injured guy with white hair. Toya learned that the military were rebel against the kingdom, so Toya healed the guy and he took him to safety. As a result, Toya decided to find the king to save his family. Toya immediately ran to the royal palace. Then he saw many dead soldiers. Suddenly he heard a girl scream. Toya used his new iPhone, and he used Siri to locate the girl's whereabouts. Then a girl was almost killed, but Toya managed to save her in time. Toya then healed her injury with his null magic spell. The rescued princess was in shock, but she calmed down immediately when she felt the Riz of Toya. She was very shy around Toya and blushed. Suddenly Carol appeared. She was happy that the princess was alive. However, Toya told that he is an adventurer of the Kingdom Belfast, who teleported to the town. Carol was surprised that Toya knew teleportation magic. She then asked Toya to teleport the royal family out of the capital. After that, the two introduced themselves, and Toya learned that the rescued girl is Princess Lucia. Then Toya wanted to teleport the princess to Belfast, but she worried about her family members. Toya wanted to help to finding her family. Followed, they searched the palace for Princess Lucia's family. After that, they found King Zephyr in his bedroom. He was injured, and General Bezoar attacked the king. The leader of the military was furious that Lucia and Carol survived. Bezoar then said that he was proposing to cancel the peace contract with Belfast. He wanted to conquer the other lands, and the king was against his plan. So Toya asked if Bezoar had any chance of winning against the other kingdoms. Suddenly, Bezoar revealed his newfound power. Bezoar ate a devil fruit and he could summon a powerful demon. Toya couldn't believe he was a devil fruit user who can control a strong demon. So Bezoar said that he is invincible. In addition, he displayed bracelets that absorbed the magic of his opponents. Toya tried to steal Bezoar's bracelet with a spell. Unfortunately, the demon's skill had negated his magic. After that, Toya attacked with his pistol, but his attack was deflected by another bracelet. Toya understood that he is currently invincible, and he cannot harm him now. Suddenly, Toya noticed that King Zephyr is still alive, so he teleports the royal family and Carol to Belfast. Then Toya said he will come back and stop him. Toya then used the slip spell, and the general couldn't get up. Toya looked down at him, and he made fun of the general. He activated an illusion spell before retreating. Later, Toya reported on the plight of Regulus Kingdom. The girls found the situation awful, and they had no idea how to solve the rebellion. Suddenly, Toya replied that he has a nasty plan to defeat General Bezoar. Later he checked on the king, and he told Princess Lucia that her father is recovering. Lucia had a crush on Toya, and she wanted him to call her Lu. Meanwhile, Yumina watched the two. Yumina then introduced herself to Lu, and she noticed that Lu had a crush on Toya. Toya went to the king's mansion, and Lu was sad to learn that Toya had a fiancé. Suddenly, Yumina asked if Princess Lucia is in love with Toya. She understood that Toya is an attractive man. After that, we see Toya talking to the king. Suddenly, Yumina's father said that Yumina's mother is pregnant. He wasn't entirely satisfied, because his original plan was to crown Toya as the next king. After that, Toya went to his workshop on the island of Babylon. He learned from Rosetta that the enemy's bracelets were an invention of Professor Regina. Toya learned that the bracelets is fallen from one of Babylon's island. However, Toya recalled that there were more artifacts that he had seen before. In the evening, King Zephyr woke up and thanked Toya for saving him. Following this, King Zephyr apologized for all the trouble he was causing. Suddenly, Toya said he could retake the capital the next morning. Then Lu asked if Toya could find her big brother first. Followed, Toya asked about his appearance. So Toya used physical contact to get more information. Suddenly, Toya realized that he already have rescued Lu's brother. Toya immediately located the prince with his new iPhone and showed Lu's father the whereabouts of her big brother. Lu and her father were happy that the prince is alive. The next day, Toya decided to retake the capital. So Toya went with his girls and pets to reclaim the capital of the Regulus Kingdom. Toya quickly managed to defeat the enemies, and he got ready to fight the strong demon. The demon attacked Toya, but he was able to dodge all dangerous attacks. Toya then attacked with his sword and managed to overwhelm the demon. Toya defeated the demon with just one punch, because he is also known as One Punch Man. Then his girls appeared, and they defeated the other enemies too. After that, only General Balzoar remained, and he looked down on Toya. Balzoar didn't want to accept his defeat, and Toya conjured up a huge glass box. Then Toya showed slimes that had absorbed sewage, so Toya said they have a disgusting smell. Suddenly, Balzoar was teleported into the box. Balzoar couldn't become the next president of Canada, and he fainted from the stench. As a result, the demon also disappeared. After the fight, the King Zephyr informed his citizens that he had defeated the enemies. He apologized for the trouble caused by the military and said that peace is now restored. After that, Toya went home, and the girls told him that he stinks. Toya said he accidentally touched the slimes and he's going to take a shower right away. In the days that followed, King Zephyr wanted to grant Toya a wish, but Toya said he didn't need a reward. Then King Tristwin said that Toya is very humble. He was glad that he nevertheless agreed to marry his daughter. So King Zephyr had the idea that Toya also marries his daughter Lu. This would strengthen the relationship between the two kingdoms. Suddenly, Yumina interrupted the king's conversation. She said that she had already spoken to Lu, and that Princess Lu would approve of marrying Rizmaster Toya. Toya was shocked that he was getting another wife, and Princess Lu was happy that she is now also engaged to Toya. Later, Lu celebrated that she is now officially engaged to Toya as well, and the other girls congratulated her. Afterwards, Toya said he isn't old enough to get married now. The kings replied that they didn't expect them to marry immediately. However, his friend Leon cheered him up. Also, the kings wanted to announce the engagement to the citizens of the kingdoms as soon as possible. Suddenly, Toya found out that he was given a small land between the two kingdoms. He would then become king of the gifted land, and could set the laws. Toya didn't want to be king, but he knew that the two kings leaves him no choice. Then we see Toya and his girls coming up with names for his new kingdom. So Toya decided to name his kingdom Brunilda. After that, they considered coming up with a plan for their move to their own nation. So Toya considered building a new mansion. Suddenly Lu appeared. She made up for Toya. Toya said she looks cute in her outfit. However, Lu suggested that Toya could build a castle, because he will be a future king. Toya looked at castles, but he had no idea about the constructions. So Rosetta appeared to help her master. Below we see Toya in the workshop of Babylon. Rosetta told him that he can build a castle in his workshop. As a result, Toya was overwhelmed with a lot of information. He got angry, and Lu gave Toya a great idea of building their castle. In the days that followed, we see the new castle was built. Toya was shocked that Rosetta was able to completely build a castle in just 3 days. Then Rosetta showed the girls around their new home. Suddenly, Lean appeared behind Toya. She is surprised that he is now becoming a king. Toya said he doesn't want to be the future king of his own nations, or the king of Belfast. He said there is also the possibility of not becoming a king if Yumina gets a little brother. Leon then said that she became the ambassador of Mistmead. Later, Toya built a teleportation room. Reen also appeared, and Toya wanted to test his teleportation room. So Toya asked Reen to put her hand on the door. As a result, a portal opened, and Toya's new invention was a complete success. Suddenly Reen showed him a letter. He was called to King Tristwin. Followed, he met the king of Refreeze. He wanted to establish good relations between Toya's new nation. However, Toya thought that he must marry the perverted Princess Riri. The king said his daughter is already engaged to someone, and Toya was relieved. Following, he said that he would be happy if Toya would show him around his new nation, Brunilda. Toya saw through the two. They just wanted to go on vacation. Over the next few weeks, Toya turned his new castle into a holiday paradise. He built many games for entertainment. The girls were happy to test the new games, and they had a lot of fun. Then Toya relaxed with Francesca on the massage seats, and Toya was called by Elsa. She played mahjong with the other girls, and Elsa was a pro mahjong player. Toya was shocked, and he couldn't believe that she played mahjong for the first time. After that, all his fiancées were relaxing on the massage seats, and the maids cleaned the rooms. Tsubaki then showed up for a visit. Toya was happy to see her again. Then Toya learned that they have problems back in Ishin. Tsubaki said that a tyrant has appeared, who is trying to enslave the people. They couldn't do something against him. As a result, the generals of the Takeda clan all wanted to take refuge in the new nation of Toya. Toya didn't mind, and he allowed them to move into his new nation. In the afternoon, the Takeda generals thanked Toya for allowing them to move into his new nation. Followed, Toya asked if he can meet the fourth general. Following this, Toya met General Kosaka, who wanted to help Toya establish trade relations. So he gave Toya a lot of advice, and they built roads, fields, and new houses on his land. Toya managed to build a small village for the new residents in just a short time. In addition, he had built a path for tourists to visit his new city too. Then we see Lu. She was still nervous, because she didn't want to be a burden to Toya. So the other girls cheered her up, and she was looking forward. A few days later, Toya continued to build his new nation, and the children were greeting Toya. Then Lu showed up. She cooked him a delicious bento for lunch. She was nervous since it was her first time cooking a bento. Toya replied that her food is delicious. Then Toya said she looks cute, and she blushed. In the days that followed, Toya's holiday paradise for the royal family started. They all had a great time at Toya's new home. Then Leon said that Toya had performed a miracle, because he had united many kingdoms. Then Sushi showed up. She wanted to play with Toya. The other kings also wanted to play with Toya. In the evening, Toya created a fireworks and told the knights that nobody is attacking them. So the royal families watched the beautiful fireworks, which was created with bombs. After that, Lu thanked Toya, because she was happy to experience such a nice time with him. Suddenly, Toya gave her an engagement ring, and she was proud to be Toya's fiancée. Then Toya proved he's a true Rizzler, and he knew Lu wanted to hold his hands. A few days later, we see Toya's group in a huge cave on the mountains. They were looking for Santa Claus, but they only found a new ruin. Then Toya jumped into a secret trapdoor. He discovered another Babylon ruin, so he transmitted his magic in the teleportation circle. Toya was teleported to a room in Babylon, and he found a building. Suddenly, Bellflora introduced herself. She told him about the alchemy ward, and Toya was surprised by her big boobs. Toya then related that he was accepted as a master by the other guardians of the Babylon Islands. Flora could sense his Riz aura, and she wanted to test him. So she forced Toya to massaging her breasts. Toya was overwhelmed, and he was recognized as her new master. After the kiss, Toya couldn't believe that he had received another perverted servant. Toya was shocked by the passionate kiss he got from Flora. After that, Toya was shown around the alchemy ward. He then learned that many different medicines are manufactured in the laboratory. Then Flora showed him a room full of potions that invoke special abilities. Followed, Toya learned that Professor Regina made many different sexual enhancers. Later on, Lean was disappointed that they didn't find the Library of Babylon. Then the other girls met Flora, and the girls were jealous of her big breasts. Yahe tried to calm Yumina and Lu, and she cheered them up. After that, Lean said Toya could help the growing of their breasts, if they massaged them. Suddenly Flora confessed that Toya kissed her and massaged her breasts. The girls got angry, and he apologized to them. When he got home, Reen brought him his newly ordered books, and he wanted to learn a new magic. Following this, Toya tried to cast outside of his home the spell Fly. He could learn it immediately, so Toya flew into the sky. Toya became Super Toya, and he could fly through the sky at super speed with ease. After using the spell, he felt sick and rested on Elsa's lap. She asked him if he could cast the fly spell on her. Toya replied that it isn't possible to transfer the spell to another person. He said he could carry her in his arms while flying. Suddenly Toya remembered that he can use the levitation spell. As a result, he made Elsa levitate, and they could fly together. Elsa was impressed by Toya. Toya then said that he learned the spells to fight against the phrase demons. Then he flew in the sky and he discovered his friends. So Toya welcomed his new residents to his Brunilda kingdom. Suddenly God called him, and on the phone the goddess of love wanted to talk with Toya. The goddess of love saw that he was in love mode, so she suggested that he should now spend a lot of time with his fiancée. The goddess of love wished him good luck with his wives. In the afternoon, Toya met Yahi's parents, and they gave Toya their blessing. Then Toya said he was glad not to fight against his father. Suddenly her father got the idea to test Toya's power, but Yahi didn't want them to fight. Yahi's parents could see the passion of their love. As a result, Yahi's parents wished them both to be happy together. Followed then, Toya visited Elsa and Linz's family. The twins' uncle Toya thought he would be punished by the new king. The daughter then apologized that he was talking nonsense. Toya immediately tried to calm him down, and Aunt Lanaa understood why her niece loved Toya. She understood that he is a very good-hearted boy. Then Toya was asked if he is strong as the king of their nation. Toya was asked if he can defeat strong bears. So he found out about the monster problem, and he wanted to go get rid of it later. After the hunt of the bears, Toya drank tea at his cafe. Suddenly Ende appeared, and Toya asked him about the phrase. Ende told him that the phrase had come from another world looking for a special core. The demons attack humans because the core of their king is hidden in a human. The king of Fraz communicates with sounds, but the beating heart of the humans are too loud. As a result, they kill the innocent people to find the core. Then Toya learned that 5,000 years ago, the barrier was suddenly repaired, and the danger was gone. Toya then asked Ende if he is a good or a bad person. He replied that he is just a guy, who is just trying to get humanity more time by hunting down the phrase demons. Then Ende said goodbye, and he just said that he is a traveler. Toya was concerned about the new information about the phrase. He then questioned Rosetta about the frame gear weapon. Toya wanted to copy the weapon against the frame demon, but Rosetta said it isn't possible. The weapon is very difficult to build, and they don't have enough materials to craft the new machines. As a result, Toya decided to track down the other islands of Babylon in order to get hold of the phrase gear. After that, his pets wanted to support him, and they told Toya about the Red Monarch. Toya learned that the Red Monarch can control thousands of birds. So Kohaku said that the Red Monarch is very nice and a calm monster. However, with the support of Kohaku and his other pet, Toya summoned a new monarch. Then a huge flame bird appeared, with a majesty performance. His pets were happy to see the Red Monarch again. Then Kohaku asked the Red Monarch to make a familiar contract with Toya. Toya was surprised that he didn't want to test him first, so he got a new pet right away. This is how Toya named his new pet, Koyoku. Then Koyoku should use her power, and she ordered the birds to search for the island of Babylon. The birds immediately flew to the sky, and Toya was confident of finding other pieces of Babylon islands. The following morning, Toya woke up in his bed, and Yumina slept next to him. Suddenly Toya realized that yesterday he fell asleep alone in his bed. Yumina then woke up and said good morning to him. Toya asked why she slept in his bed. So Yumina replied that they are spouses and it's normal to sleep together. After that, Yumina kissed him on the cheek, and she went to prepare breakfast. Followed Toya was resting in his garden with Kohaku. Then Koyoku appeared. She reported to Toya that she found a black pyramid, which looks strange. Toya assumed it belonged to part of Babylon Island. So he gathered all his girls and he told them about the discovered ruin. The girls were very motivated and looking forward to their trip. Toya hoped they would find the hangar or storehouse of Babylon. Then we see Toya's group on a deserted island. Suddenly, a monster appeared and Toya's group was ready for battle. Teddy Bear Paula also wanted to fight. The fight against the huge rhino then started and Toya aimed his pistol at the monster. Yumina fired her pistol first, and Lindsay cast an ice spell on the rhino. After that, Lu attacked the monster's legs and she cut off one leg. Then Elsa and Yahi attacked the monster and they won without the help of Toya. He was sad because he was useless. Meanwhile, Teddy Bear Paula found a black pyramid. Toya immediately found a teleporter to one of the islands of Babylon. He then told Kohaku that he will now teleport up to the floating island. And Toya activated the teleport station. Suddenly Toya was attacked by a red-haired girl with a huge tool. Toya shocked that a crazy girl is guarding the island of Babylon. Then Monica introduced herself. After that, Toya told her about the collected floating islands. So she challenged Toya to a fight. Toya was attacked, but he instantly defeated her with his slip spell. Monica slipped and she blushed because Toya had seen her panties. She got angry and tried to attack Toya again. Toya repelled her attack and she was humiliated even more. After that, Monica accepted her defeat and she recognized Toya as her new master. Following this, she immediately kissed him to register Toya as her new master. As a result, Monica showed the huge hangar enchanted with space magic. Monica wanted to open a storage room, but she couldn't reach the button, so she destroyed it. Toya then saw Professor Regina's first frame gear built. Toya immediately wanted to play with the giant combat suit, but he was disappointed because the controls are broken. Monica explained that the machine consumes ether liquid. Then Monica said maybe Flora has a solution. Later he learned that Flora could manage to produce ether liquid, but she needs ether ore for the production. Then Lindsay showed a magic stone, and Flora confirmed that the magic stone is an ether ore. Toya was happy, but the girls explained to him that a magic stone of the desired size had never been found before. Yahei suggested that Toya could use Google Maps to locate a giant-sized magic stone. Toya immediately brought Flora the giant ether ore, and she was able to create ether liquid. Then Rosetta visited the Babylon hangar. She wanted to see if everything in the hangar was clean. After that, the pilot seat was opened, and Toya tested out the new combat suit. Monica said that a transformer is very dangerous. Toya said that he hadn't a driver license and wasn't ready to control a giant robot yet. Suddenly, Rosetta said they have a frame unit to simulate controlling the frame gear. Toya was able to test the control of the frame gear with the frame unit. He was happy and was instantly fan of the frame unit. Another frame gear suddenly appeared in the simulator, which Monica controlled. She challenged Toya to a fight, and they were awarded swords. Toya immediately defeated Monica for being a pro gamer in his old life. He later showed his girls the new frame units. His fiancées and pets then played with the frame units, and Monica also produced additional frame gears with Rosetta. Suddenly Sushi appeared, urgently looking for him. She asked Toya to make her his fiancé as well. Lime then appeared. He explained the situation to him that Sushi had recently received a marriage proposal. Toya then learned that she must marry Prince Zaboon of the Kingdom of Lanaa. Toya didn't think the idea was bad, but Sushi refused. Suddenly Lime said that the prince forced his girls to hook on OnlyFans. Toya was horrified by the story, and he wanted to help Sushi. Sushi was desperate, and she begged him to make her his fiancé. Toya didn't want to let Sushi down, so he decided to ask his fiancé for advice. As a result, all of his fiancés said that he gets permission to make Sushi as his sixth fiancé. Suddenly, Lime said that announcing Sushi's engagement to Toya would cause a lot of trouble with Prince Zaboon. Francesca suggested secretly murdering the prince, because he is a disgusting guy. Then his other servants suggested many brutal ideas to Toya. Toya wanted to find a peaceful solution, and he went to Alfred for advice. Alfred said that their only option is to speak to the second prince of the Lanaa Kingdom, because he is the only sane one. Unfortunately, the second prince was banished for being the son of a concubine. Also, Toya learned that Prime Minister Wardak has the most power, and he only uses the royal family for appearances. An envoy from Lanaa then appeared, and Toya was asked to resolve the conflict. Lanaa's emissary wanted to know the reasons for Sushi's rejection of the marriage proposal. Alfred said that Sushi refused, because she is already engaged to Toya, and the emissary apologized for his rudeness to the king of Brunilda. He was happy to meet the legendary hero Toya, and asked about his teleportation spells. Toya then learned that the emissary is the second prince of Lanaa, and his name is Cloud Zeph Lanaa. This is how the second prince introduced himself, and Toya learned that Cloud's mother is trapped in a tower. Toya and Alfred were shocked about the situation. Additionally, Cloud said his father has no power over Prime Minister Wardak. Followed Toya realized the plan, which is why Prince Zaboon proposed to Sushi. Toya was furious, and Alfred said they need to set up a meeting with all of their allies. However, all the kings were gathered in one room, and Toya reported him on the problem of Kingdom Lanaa. Suddenly, Toya asked about Prime Minister Wardak's evil deeds. Toya then asked what they think about Cloud. All the kings replied that they would all support Prince Cloud. After that, Toya said that they need a plan, but everyone is counting on Toya and believing that he will find a peaceful solution. Later, Toya and the prince teleported to the Kingdom of Lanaa. He then followed with Yahei and Elsa to the royal palace. Prince Zaboon was already expecting his brother, and he looked down on him. He called him scum, and Elsa found the prince disgusting. Suddenly, Kohaku noticed that one of his servants is wearing a slave collar. Then Prince Zaboon learned that Sushi had turned down his marriage proposal. Zaboon didn't want to accept, and he slapped Cloud in the face. He then said that Cloud is useless, and he should just kidnap Sushi to enslave her. Afterwards, Zaboon learned that Sushi had turned him down, because she was engaged to King Toya of the Brunilda Kingdom. Suddenly Prince Cloud was kicked by his brother. Toya and his friends got angry when Cloud was beat up by Zaboon. When Toya tried to intervene, Zaboon's mother showed up. So Prince Zaboon stopped beating his brother and he walked away. After that, Toya healed his friend Cloud in a dark room. Yahei and Elsa said that Prince Zaboon is scum. Toya then learned that Prince Zaboon was enslaving young girls, so Toya immediately freed Prince Zaboon's slave. Meanwhile, Prince Zaboon was looking for his missing slave. However, Zaboon complained about the disappeared slave. But Wardak told him that he should use the necklace to kill the slave girl. After that, Prince Zaboon wanted a new slave. Suddenly Wardak said that Zaboon will be sent to the kingdom of Palof soon. Toya was shocked by Wardak's statement. In the afternoon he reported to Cloud that Wardak intends to send a declaration of war to the kingdom of Palof. Cloud understood that the situation is very horrible and he needs to do something. Toya said he will support him, and Cloud thanked him, and he wanted to save his kingdom. At night, Toya planned to free Cloud's mother. So Toya used his phone, and he paralyzed all the guards with just a single spell. Toya was able to save Cloud's mother, and Cloud was confused about what just happened. After that, Cloud's mother was saved, and she was happy to see her son alive. Yahei was also happy, and Toya gave her some tissues. Then they got to know nobleman Coop. He wanted to support Cloud to fight against Wardak. Toya was surprised by his story for being the old prime minister, and he asked for a non-violent solution. Toya and his friends hatched a plan, but the evidence that Prince Zaboon had done terrible deeds has long since been destroyed. Suddenly Toya showed that he has an evil plan. The girls shocked, and they knew that Toya got another evil plan. A night later reported that Queen Aria escaped from the tower. Toya was invisible and spied on Wardak's conversation. Then Wardak said that they must now catch Cloud and postpone the declaration of war. Wardak later said that he must quickly make Zaboon the next king. Suddenly Toya learned interesting information, and he recorded them with his phone. Toya learned that Cloud's father was being blackmailed, and now he knew why the king couldn't do anything. Also, Wardak said he intends to kill Prince Cloud. After that, he also learned that Zaboon is actually the son of Wardak and Queen Dacia. The following day in the king's hall, Toya and his friends watched the speech on the succession to the throne. The king said that he will soon abdicate as king. Meanwhile, Wardak and his family were looking forward to Zaboon becoming king. Suddenly the king said that Prince Cloud will be the next king of the kingdom of Lanaa. So Prince Cloud went about his claim to the throne and Zaboon was shocked. Cloud then said that as the new king, he would swear allegiance to the kingdom. Suddenly Wardak asked why Zaboon wasn't chosen as the king. Queen Dacia wanted an answer too. Suddenly the king laughed, because he knows about all the lies. Then the king called Toya to show up. Toya appeared with his pet tiger Kohaku. He proves the lies of Wardak and Dacia to everyone present, so everyone could see what scum they were. Then Wardak tried to save himself. Then the king said that he knew about the lies. He also knows his wife is safe. As a result, Wardak was stripped of his powers and the king wanted to punish him. After that, Toya asked what punishment Zaboon gets. The king replied that he had done bad deeds without intending to murder. He also received the death penalty, and Zaboon refused to be executed. Toya said he got a fair punishment. Toya got angry and shot him with rubber bullets. Prince Zaboon begged for mercy, but Toya couldn't forgive him. So Zaboon was knocked out by Toya with his rubber bullets. After that, Cloud became king, and Wardak's family weren't executed, instead they got a fieldwork as punishment. A few weeks later, King Cloud also became Toya's new ally. Then Toya wanted to play with his frame gears. Suddenly Sushi appeared. She was pleased that Toya had defeated the evil prince. Followed Toya told her that they can cancel their engagement, but Sushi was very sad. She almost started to cry. As a result, Toya decided to marry Sushi too, if he turns 18 years old. Sushi was happy, and Toya got a sixth fiancé now. In the months that follow, we see Toya at Olga and Leon's wedding. They greeted all their guests. Meanwhile, Lindsay and Lou were happy to see their marriage. Toya was then greeted by the fathers of the newly married couple. They were happy about their children's wedding, and thanked Toya, because without him, the two would never have found each other. After the wedding, they were at home, and Yumina said that they need to develop their love further. Lou loved Yumina's proposed idea. Lindsay didn't know what Yumina was up to, so she suggested a date with Toya, and Lou was already looking forward to their date together. Toya was confused and said that they are engaged. Suddenly the other girls said that they hadn't seen much of Toya lately. Toya realizes they were right, because he had a lot of paperwork to do. So he accepted spending time with the girls. In the afternoon, Toya was waiting for his fiancées, and he was surprised by their outfits. Yumina said that the designs are all he had created. Toya then complimented them and they blushed. After that, the girls acted strangely and played rock paper scissors against each other. Later, Toya went to town with his girls. Suddenly, Lou and Lindsay hugged Toya, and the other girls were jealous. Toya understood their strange behavior from earlier. Later in a jeweler, he bought all his girls' jewelry. At lunch, it was Yumina and Elsa's turn to spend some time with Riz God Toya. So the other girls were jealous, and Toya wasn't allowed to eat by himself. Yumina and Elsa wanted to feed Toya. After lunch it was Yahei's turn, and Lou was allowed to walk at Toya's side too. Suddenly, Yumina spotted a giant picture. Toya didn't think the theme of action suited a date, but Lindsay knew the story. Elsa stopped her immediately, because she spoiled almost the whole story. Suddenly, bandits appeared, and they tried to threaten them. Their intentions were to steal Toya's bitcoins. Toya's fiancés knew that Bitcoin is going to the moon, so they beat them all up. After watching the theater performance, Yumina was angry. The reason is the bandits ruined her mood. So Toya used his charm, and he immediately cheered Yumina up. She was happy, and the other girls blushed at his words too. The girls said that they love Toya and they want to live on his side forever. Then they ran home together with Toya. Toya was looking forward to their future together. When they got home, Toya realized they forgot Sushi. Followed Sushi was angry, because she couldn't spend time with Toya. As a result, Toya spent the following day with Sushi, and she was happy about her date with Toya. Following this, Toya and Sushi were greeted by the town's children. Later they were in many different shops. Toya invited Sushi for a cheesecake. After that, they watched the samurai on their workout. In the evening, Sushi thanked him for the great day. Toya replied that he also had a lot of fun on their date. Then Sushi said that Toya is a great person, because he always makes people very happy. He then thought about the words of Sushi, and he was happy to see the children of his kingdom grow up happily. Then he held Sushi's hand, and he was glad to be engaged with Sushi. Suddenly, Toya received a message from Kohaku and Flora. He learned that his ether liquid is ready. The next day, Toya went to see his robots, and the girls were amazed too. Then the frame gear was controlled, and it finally moved. Yahei was piloting the giant transformers, and he asked her about the feeling. Then Yahei replied that the controls feel like they are in the simulator. Suddenly, Lou asked why he didn't control the robot himself. Toya replied that he is a gentleman. Then he wanted to test the frame gear, but the robot ran away. Lindsay said that Elsa went into the machine. Later Toya also received a new blue sword. Rosetta was amazed that Toya came up with the idea of forging a sword with the phrase crystals. Then Toya said he came up with the idea while fighting against them the last time. After that, Toya learned that she needs more orichalcum for building the frame gears. So Toya decided to find orichalcum, but Lou and Yumina went looking for him. They wanted to go on a date with Toya again, but they didn't want to stop him from working. Toya told them that he is looking for orichalcum. Suddenly Toya thought of looking for orichalcum golems. He used Google Maps and immediately found the golems he was looking for. The girls wanted to go with him, but they didn't like to fly on the sky. As a result, Toya flew alone to the kingdom of Lestia to hunt the golems. On his way, Toya discovered a burning village that was being attacked by phrase demons. Toya rushed to the rescue and a group of knights fought the phrase demons. A female knight tried to defeat them, but her sword broke. Toya managed to save her in time. He immediately defeated a phrase demon, and the girl fell in love with Toya. Then Toya realized that only weak phrase demons are won the field. He told the knights that he will defeat them all. Following this, Toya launched his attack against the phrase demons, destroying them all in just a moment. After the fight, Toya asked about injured people. He learned that everyone is only slightly injured, and he offered to heal them. However, Toya healed all the injured villagers. Followed then, Toya introduced himself, and he got to know the Princess Hildegard of the Kingdom of Lestia. After that, Toya said that he is the king of Brunilda. Hildegard was surprised, and she heard rumors about the legendary hero Toya. Suddenly Toya asked if he could collect the phrase's materials. That's how Hildegard found out about his phrase sword, and she stared at his sword. Toya noted that she also wants a phrase sword. As a result, he pulled his spare swords out of his item box. So Toya gave Hildegard a sword. Hildegard then blushed and thanked Toya. After that, Toya said goodbye to Hildegard. Later, Toya defeated many orichalcum golems, and he collected enough materials. On the way back he saw a deer, who wanted to show him something. The deer led him to an injured girl, who was bleeding and lost some limbs. She was very bad injured, and was about to die. Then Toya immediately used his strongest healing spell to save her in time. The girl woke up briefly, but she immediately fainted. Sometime later, Flora told that the rescued girl was healed, but she lost her memories. Toya was shocked, and learned that she still can read. Toya suspected side effects caused by the severed body parts. Flora was confident in her lab, and said she could cut off Toya's mushrooms to prove to him that the side effects weren't caused by her alchemy lab. After that, Toya visited the girl in the hospital room. He noticed that she really had no memories. Then he introduced himself as King of the Kingdom of Brunilda. The girl didn't remember her own name, and she suggested that Toya should give her a name. So Toya decided to name the girl Sakura. She liked the chosen name Sakura, and said thanks to Toya. In the afternoon, Toya told Elsa and Lou what had happened. Also, Toya said that she is currently going for a walk, and Koyoku took care of her. Then Elsa wanted to train with the knights, and Lou continued to practice cooking. After that, he went to look for Sakura, and he heard a beautiful song. Sakura sang a harmonic song, and she was so focused on singing that she didn't notice Toya. Then Toya complimented her voice and asked if she liked to sing. Sakura was unsure if she would like to sing, because she sang subconsciously. As a result, Toya had a great idea and started playing a piano. Toya could play the piano because he was forced to learn to play the piano in his childhood. Suddenly Sakura appeared, and she liked the sound of the piano. After that he showed her different pieces of music, and she got in the mood to sing to his piano playing. Toya was a great musical duo with Sakura, and Sakura sang better than Hannah Montana. The two created beautiful music together, and the other girls appeared too. They applauded and said that they loved voice of Sakura. Then they asked if Sakura could sing more songs. In the days that followed, Toya found out about a monster. Prim showed him a book about the strong monster called Catolipas. This is how Toya learned that the monster is very dangerous, and it has the demon eye with Medusa's abilities. Prim said that people who look the monster in the eyes are petrified and can't move. So Toya was asked for help, and he learned that Toya was the only one who could do it. He learned that the king of the kingdom of Lestia would also be suitable. Unfortunately, Princess Hildegard's grandfather is already over 70 years old. Then Toya decided to accept the quest against the monster, and asked for the reward. Prim showed him a large amount reward, and he was confident of defeating the monsters with the demon eyes. However, he reported his girls the accepted quest. They thought Toya was a gold digger, who only wanted to fight strong monsters for money. Leon told the others that catalepas are very rare monsters because they even petrify each other. Lou and Yahe found it pitiful, because they can't even look their lovers in the eye. Then Toya said he will be back in the evening, but the girls wanted to join him on his monster hunt. They were looking forward to a new adventure with Toya. Later they prepared for monster hunting, and Yahe received a phrase sword. Toya said she can do more damage with the new sword. Yahe thanked Toya, but the others were jealous of not getting a gift. Francesca then informed Toya that they had reached their destination. Toya's group sought out the Catalepas monster. Else then asked why he didn't revive the petrified adventurers first. Suddenly, Toya found the monster he was looking for, and he said that the wedding rings have an anti-spell against Medusa's gaze. Then Toya started attacking, and the monster tried to petrify him with his demon eye. Toya's group immediately launched all their attacks against the monster. The Catalepas was able to withstand the attacks from Toya's group. Lindsay then was almost crushed, and she said she is unharmed because Toya saved her in time. Toya then retrieved his superpower sword from his storage spell. The monster activated his demon eye and attacked him, but Toya managed to cut down his head. Suddenly Yumina said that he will be petrified, and he used a spell in time to save himself. After the fight, Lou screamed and she became petrified, but Lindsay calmed her down. They said that a Catalepas can petrify people for a short time after his death. The petrification then stopped, and Lou broke off the rock. Suddenly, Lou realized that her panties were petrified as well. Toya was forced to look away, and as he realized what was happening in front of him, Toya started to blush. Then Toya wanted to look, but the girls shout on him. After that, another Catalepas appeared and he petrified Toya. Toya managed to free himself in time again, and he warned his fiancés. Toya tried not to look into the Catalepas' demon eyes. Then Toya had an idea because he learned a spell against Medusa's eyes. As a result, Toya censored the eyes of the Katolepas, and they were able to defeat both of them. After that they went to the guild, and Prim thanked Toya for the great help. He then dissolved the petrification of the adventurers. Toya forgot that they all are naked, and the girls were shocked. A few days later, Toya allowed the other kings to play with his frame units. They had a lot of fun, and Cloud was impressed. After the first round, Toya asked for her opinion on the game. Meanwhile, Princess Hildegard was sad, and looked at the phrase sword, which they got from Toya. Suddenly her grandpa appeared, and he noticed her sad sighs. Subsequently, he learned about the weapons made by Toya, and became curious about him. In the days that followed, Toya came up with a design to upgrade his robot. So Monica immediately started to install the upgrades on the robots. Suddenly, Kohaku said that someone wanted to see him. Toya found out that the goddess of love was coming to visit him. The goddess of love introduced herself to everyone as Toya's big sister Kara. His fiancés were surprised that Toya had a big sister. However, the girls wanted Toya to enjoy his reunion with his sister. After that, Toya found out that she was bored in the god realm and she wanted to have some fun. So she decided to live with Toya for a while. Suddenly Toya got a message that an ambassador from Kingdom of Lestia would like to visit him. Kara told Toya that he can now seduce Princess Hildegard too. Lapis said that the ambassador is currently watching the knights on their training. Meanwhile, Goddess Kara had a premonition that she didn't want to reveal to Toya. Thereafter, Toya met Princess Hildegard on the training field. She said she came along as an escort. Then Gale, the previous king of Lestia, appeared. He was happy to meet Toya. He then said that he would like to see his city. Suddenly he grabbed Maid Lapis's booty. Hildegard was ashamed of her grandfather's behavior. Toya was surprised because the old man was a mutant Roshi in an Isekai world. Then Gale said that he would like to see the transformers of Toya's kingdom. Toya then showed off his frame gears, which are used against the phrase demons. Toya told him that the robots are his secret weapons to save the world. Then he ordered Monica to demonstrate the fighting power of his robots. As a result, Monica destroyed a huge rock with ease. After that, Gale wanted to know the reasons of building the frame gears. He replied that he wants to protect the world, because the phrase demon destroyed an entire nation a few centuries ago. In addition, Toya assured that he has no plans to attack other countries with the phrase gears. After that, Gale wanted to know what would happen if they teamed up. Toya convinced Gale and he allied himself with Toya's kingdom. Following this, Hildegard interrupted their conversation because she planned to challenge Brunhilda's strongest warrior to a fight. Later, Yahe fought against Princess Hildegard. Yahe showed off her strong sword skills, and the two were evenly matched. In the end, both tried to win, but neither managed to get the win. Following Toya ended the fight between the two. Hildegard also learned that Toya is engaged to Yahe. In addition, Hildegard learned that Toya is a boy with infinite riz. When Yahe told her that Toya already had 6 fiancés, she was in despair. Suddenly the goddess of love appeared. She knew that Hildegard had a crush on Toya. Toya didn't notice her feelings and Hildegard was nervous. Then Hildegard tried to clear up the misunderstanding. Suddenly, Yahe said that she was just Toya's side chick in the beginning too. But Yahe could understand Hildegard's feelings and said that the other girls would also support her. As a result, Yahe said that Hildegard should also become Toya's fiancé. Toya was shocked to get a 7th fiancé, and Kara was happy about their decision. After that, Gale showed up, saying he wouldn't accept the marriage without a fight. Toya thought he had to fight against Gale, but he wanted to see Hildegard's determination. In the afternoon, Hildegard became Toya's 7th fiancé, and everyone congratulates her. Then Sushi said that she is a kind princess, and they were sure that Hildegard would be a great support for Toya. Suddenly Kara showed up. She wanted to know the reason why she fell in love with Toya. Everyone was excited about the story too. So Hildegard told about the story, that Toya saved him from phrase demons. Kara stopped her story. She expected to hear more romance and girly things. As a result, Hildegard describes Toya's appearance as a shining hero. They all agreed that Toya's appearance is like a shiny Pokemon in human form. Followed she blushed, and everyone was happy about her story, that she fell in love with Toya at first sight. Followed she told the girls that after the day she just could think about Toya. The girls answered that they understand her feelings, because Toya is a Rizzler, who can make every girl happy. Suddenly Kara wished Hildegard good luck for her fight, because she is looking forward that the both will marry soon. Then the girls said that somehow she will conquer her grandfather, and love will give her strength. In the evening the fight between Hildegard and her grandfather began. Gale was very strong despite being old. The girls were worried about Hildegard, but they firmly believed that she will win. Toya wanted to help Hildegard, and he used his phone to show him pictures of OnlyFans hotties. Following this, Gale was successfully distracted, so Hildegard managed to defeat her grandpa successfully with a final attack. Suddenly, Yumina asked where he got the picture of the woman in bikini. Hildegard was able to save Toya's life because the girls were all angry with him, and Toya healed Gale's injury. Then Gale congratulated Hildegard on the official engagement to Toya. He also wanted to get to know the woman in the bikini. Following this, Toya used the opportunity to disappear with Gale. Meanwhile, his fiancés wanted to punish Toya for owning bikini photos of other women. The next morning, Hildegard thanked the other girls for their support. Then Hildegard asked about Toya's parents. Elsie and Lindsay answered that they didn't know Toya's parents themselves. Suddenly, Kara said that Toya's family history is very difficult to explain. She said that Toya will definitely explain everything to them at some point. Then Kara wanted to tell the girls secrets of Toya. Kohaku immediately wanted to warn Toya, but Kara prevented Kohaku's telepathic powers. As a result, Kohaku couldn't save her beloved master. Then Kara told the girls many secrets of Toya. Suddenly Toya felt a strange feeling that worried him. After a few weeks, Koyoku reported that she found a ruin near the kingdom of Lestia. Suddenly his fiancés appeared in school uniforms. Yumina said they bought school uniforms, which his first love, Choco, always wore. Then he also saw Lin and Sakura in school uniforms. Toya was shocked that Kara told the girls Toya's secrets. After that, Lindsay wanted to know if Toya liked the outfits, so he said they all looked cute and they were happy. Later, Toya found a portal, and he was surprised to discover a tower. He then learned from Preliora that he had found the rampart and the Tower of Babylon. He also learned about the history of two parts of Babylon, uniting over 370 years ago. Following this, Preliora immediately accepted him as her new master. But he was surprised that he did not have to fulfill a condition as usual. Later, Preliora showed another terminal administering, who was sleeping. Preliora didn't manage to wake Noel up, so Toya gave her tasty meat to see Noel's reaction. Preliora then allowed Noel to eat the delicious meat. She woke up and thanked for the delicious meal. After that, Toya introduced himself. Followed, she told him some conditions for being her master. Toya accepted her conditions and he became Noel's new master. In addition, she registered Toya with a passionate kiss. However, Toya gave her delicious food. Suddenly, Toya was kissed by Preliora as well. After that, the ownership of the both island were transferred to him. In the afternoon, Noel tried to tell him more about the tower, but she fell asleep immediately. Then Toya learned that the tower can transform air into magical energy. And the rampart is the defense system of Babylon. Preliora then met Toya's fiancés. Preliora noticed one was missing and Yahe said that Sushi is in Belfast. Suddenly, his favorite pet Kohaku reported that he received an important letter. So Kohaku brought him a letter and he learned that Yumina's sibling is about to be born. The king was happy about his newborn son. He showed the newborn baby to Toya and he wanted that Toya choose a name. Toya suggested the name Yamato, and the king loved the name chosen by Toya. Suddenly Prince Yamato started crying, so the girls said that the king should bring baby Yamato to his mom. After the birth, all the girls relaxed with a bath. They were happy to relax at the Silver Moon Spa. Then the girls were already looking forward to the celebration, because Yumina got a little brother, who will become the next king of Belfast. Suddenly, Lindsay mentioned that they will all eventually have children with Toya as well. All of his fiancés were nervous thinking about making a baby with Toya. After the bath, Monica reported to Toya about his fiancé's conversation, and he blushed. Rosetta then said that the professor had seen many cute babies in his future life. Toya learned that he had made a baby with each of his 9 wives. Toya shocked to learn he will get 2 more wives. Then Francesca said that apart from Lean, none of them knew about the future. Toya wanted to keep everything a secret, but the girls showed up. They wanted an explanation from Toya, but he didn't know what to say. Yumina asked Preliora, and she immediately wanted to snitch on Toya. Toya tried to stop Preliora from explaining the secret about the 9 fiancés, but he failed. So the girls found out that Toya will marry more girls. The girls were shocked that Toya is a playboy. Toya apologized for owning too much riz. After that, the girls discussed about a punishment for Toya. Lean and Sakura said he will definitely get a punishment. Suddenly the girls said they are not mad that he get 2 more wives, but they were angry at Toya for keeping secrets from them. Toya was found guilty, and his punishment is that he need to prove his love to every of his fiancées. Toya knew he must now prove his true love to all the girls. Then Toya had an idea, and he wanted to prove his love to the girls at the fireworks at night. Following this, the girls watched a beautiful firework with Toya together. His servants support Toya. In addition, all residents and his friends celebrated the festival with delicious food. Toya said he is happy, because the birth of Prince Yamato has made him understand the importance of family. Toya said that he is happy for having all his wives, and he will protect everyone from the Freza demons and evil monsters. Following this, Yumina kissed him. Elsie appeared next, and kissed him too. According to Elsa, Sushi wanted to kiss Toya, but she was still too young, so she only got a kiss on her cheek. After that, Lu appeared, but she was nervous and immediately ran away. Leon said that Hildegard passed out at the thought of a kiss. Next, Yahe wanted to kiss with Toya. She was happy, but suddenly she threw Toya on the ground. After that, Toya accidentally kissed Elsa. She was happy, but punched Toya unintentionally. Toya woke up again. All his girls were waiting for Toya. They wanted to watch the final of the firework with Toya together. Toya was happy and looking forward to his other 2 unknown fiancés in his future. Afterwards, Francesca said that she found the psychic stone. All his servants looked into the future of Toya, so they found out that Leon and Sakura will become Toya's wife too.